Last time on the Maternity Diary.
Parents will have to give them very, very good nutrition and things that will relax them. They should have the opportunity also to rest as much as they play and learn. All of these would help a child to develop well and to avoid the stresses that the COVID era imposes upon human beings in general.
And we are live. What are the ways that you can understand your child?
Of the 7.8 billion people here on earth, everybody is different. Whether they are children or whether they are adults, they differ. In fact, all adults used to be children before they became adults. We all differ. And the differences in us is responsible for sometimes the way we really behave, the way we interact with our environment and allow our environment to interact with us is based on how we are wired or our emotional makeup. And that is enshrined or rooted in what we call temperament. Temperament actually is about our emotional needs and how we want our emotional needs met. There are different temperaments, and once you are able to understand these temperaments and the way they are wired and know you cannot change them, although they have their weaknesses and they have to play down on their weaknesses after identifying it, they also have their strengths, and if they can be helped to rise to their strengths, they would be successful people who will find a lot of fulfillment. If you are a Bible person, the Bible says two can never work together unless they agree. You will never be able to work successfully with people. You cannot interact with your child or relate with your child very adequately unless you truly understand their temperament. There are successful books that have been written by the Arnolds, Richard and Phyllis Arnold, who wrote The Creation Therapy. We have a lot of other books in this area that you'll be able to pick and read in order to understand the different temperaments. Well, there is one other aspect to it. You should not be able to guess exactly that it is this particular temperament. You may not be accurate, although you can try. But the best thing is to run the Arnold profile test. And once you do that for a child, you should be able to know your child more adequately and know how their interpersonal situations come to play here, how they want to interact with people on the surface, or how they want to interact with people in social situations, in their association, in the area of conversation, in the area of love, acceptance, approval, appreciation, recognition. We all differ the way we are. Some people are introverts and others are extroverts, and the best we can do to know that we cannot change people, but at least we can understand them. Once we understand them, we'll be able to move along with them very well. We can see the beauty of God's creation in them and know that each of them is very important and has specific role that they have to play here on earth. And once we can identify them and place them where they are supposed to be, they will thrive, they will be their best. But when we try to force them to become something that they are not, then it's like putting square pegs in round holes, and that will be responsible for why people really fail. So understanding the temperament will help us to understand the weaknesses of individuals. I'm talking about emotional weaknesses, and also understand their strengths. And what we do with these two is that we play down on the weaknesses and we try to amplify or help people to live their lives according to their strengths. And that is how parents will be able to really understand their child and move on with their child and help them to grow properly, even to learn.
And how do you build self-esteem in your child?
Some children grow up losing their self-worth. Some people grow up even hating themselves. Some people grow up looking mean and down upon themselves and believe they are not the same as other people. They cannot achieve and find fulfillment like other people. And it's many times as a result of the way these people were raised as children. They may have been shouted upon and intimidated and made, certain words were used against them that demeaned them and made them to feel so inferior. And so we need to be able to encourage our children. We need to be able to identify the little things that they do and encourage them and praise them and pat them on the shoulders. Even when they have written exams and they come back, it's not a time for us to scold them so much and to insult them and berate them because they did not perform according to our expectation. We should just try as always, children must be encouraged. When you encourage people, it is believed that encouragement does better. It makes people to improve their lives and do better next time than discouragement. And so I would really encourage everybody and all parents and all people who have some form of authority over a child that the best way of nurturing a child is to see something good in them, to praise them for it, to amplify them for it when they do something really great, and as much as possible to play light or quiet over some of their weaknesses and have patience to teach them where they can correct it and where they can rise. Encouragement is very important in raising the self-esteem and self-worth of your children. Learn to play with your child. Learn to talk with your child. Have time with your child. It's one of the biggest investments you can make in your child. Yes, I know the world is moving at a very fast pace. People will have to work in order to have money to take care of their families, but nothing replaces that quality time that you spend with your child. And most children will develop trust and confidence in you as an adult. If you can spend time with them, you can talk with them, then that trust will cause them to be able to open up and share with you a lot of things that is going on with their lives. Then you'll be sure that you will not be taken by surprise at any time. So communicate with them, look them right in the eye, play with them, touch them, hug them, let them feel your warmth. And that is how you nurture a child into a successful, growing, self-worth adult.
For parents of multiple kids, how do you avoid being biased towards your children of very different temperaments, considering that each temperament demands different attention and treatment? How do you avoid any kind of bias amongst your children and to help them to prevent any child from feeling less loved?
Most adults take children for granted. They think they are children, so they are not able to read the mood of adults. They are not able to read whether they are loved or they are appreciated or they are not loved and they are rejected. But children are very smart. God made them like that. And every child is different. They learn differently, they behave differently, they do things differently, and they think differently. But what is most important is because God created them in His own image, God is in them. God is in them. And we need to be able to treasure them for who they are. It is wrong trying to compare one child with the other. Comparison does not come in here. Everybody is unique by themselves, and we should be able to pick them the way they are by their temperament and make adequate use of them so that everyone will grow up in the unique person that God made them without trying to clone them or make them to look like something else that they are not. That is where the biggest failure and the biggest frustration will come from our children. So let us not be biased towards any of them. They are all our children. They were all given to us. Let us love them all equally and give them the best that we can give to them.
Which parent is most influential?
Well, both parents have influence over their child. But you know, usually a mother is the one who is breastfeeding them. So the bonding and the closeness is there. When they are not well, mommy is with them most of the time. So the bonding, you know, is there with the child. So a mother has so much influence, but fathers exert authority. And that is where they also derive their maleness or their fatherliness or their fatherhood from. And children see, they know if a father is really responsible for them and taking care of them and is protecting them and providing them security, they know that one too. And that influence is also able to cover them. So I would not be able to say right here that it is a mother who has the greatest influence or a father has the greatest influence. Both parents have influences, but they have different roles that they play to be able to bring that influence to bear on the child.
What are the signs that we must look out for in our children for depression and anxiety?
A depressed or anxious child looks introverted. They are shy. They always want to hide in a room. They want to be all by themselves. They don't want to really talk. They don't want to share. They cry very often, you know, at the listening. They feel so down. A complex begins to develop in them. They don't want to play with their friends or their colleagues and so on and so on. These are all signs of people who are down, people who are depressed. They become easily angered at the listening and so on and so. They become fearful. They are anxious. They are afraid. They wake up in the night. Probably they've had a nightmare, and then they begin to harbor a lot of fear, you know, try to come and hide, you know, where the parents are really, some of them may be able to express what they are feeling, others may not be able to express how they are feeling. But all these are signs that are pointers that a child is anxious, a child is depressed, a child has some problem. Most of them too will not be able to eat. They are not able to eat or eat very well. They throw up. Some of them will develop even fever or temperature because they are anxious. Probably because they are shouted upon too often. They feel intimidated. The least thing that happens, they are insulted, they are shamed, they feel abandoned, they feel rejected. All of these are some of the signs and the pointers that a child is anxious or is depressed.
This has been a very insightful discussion. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and expertise with us. And we hope and look forward to having you on the Maternity Diary.
Thank you very much, Teresa, and thank you for the opportunity given to me to be able to address our audience today. I believe I've been able to share something that is worthwhile. People will be able to learn something out of it. But the most important thing is the early signs that you need to know. And then also remember that there is a lot of help. There is a lot of help up there. You can seek for a lot of help. And you can contact this particular producer who has contact and links to a lot of help, psychologists who will be able to assist you in this journey. Thank you very much.
And to all our viewers, I hope this has been a very insightful videos to you. I do love to read all your comments, so don't forget to give me a comment and let me know what you feel about this video. If you do have any questions, do not hesitate to write them down. I'll do my best to address what I can, and what I cannot, we will plan another video to address all those questions. So don't forget to keep liking my videos. Don't forget to keep sharing to your friends, and we do love everything. That's all the support that we are receiving from you. Thank you so much. And don't forget to stay happy, stay healthy, and stay beautiful. Don't forget that God loves you.